All right, welcome everybody to the Deal Predictor launch party. You guys all hear me okay? You got any feedback on there? Yeah? Welcome. Welcome. All right, well, thank you guys for coming out today. We're at the Dallas Star, the Star in Dallas. This is where the Cowboys practice. This is the Dallas Cowboys practice field. You can see the backdrop here. They didn't show up so good yesterday, but they're playing the Eagles. So what are you going to do? Right? The long-time rivalry. Next week. All right, and we're here to have our launch party to introduce the #1 deal predictor for Salesforce. All right, everybody be excited. It's coming in. All right, now here's a question for you. Are you unlocking true customer intent? Now, customer intent is pretty important, right? It's not just what people say about it, but it's about great things that are happening, right? So this technology is going to revolutionize the way that you look at prospects, customers, and your team. If you can imagine this world where every single conversation leads to better relationships and drives stronger outcomes. Right? You've heard of third-party customer intent from marketing companies, like if they clicked on a website, or maybe if they watched a webinar, right? Do they intend on buying from you? That's a bunch of bull. Using the most advanced analytics and AI to look at the buyer's emotional intelligence, we call it buyer EQ. Every conversation can uncover your customer's intent to buy or leave. You can get true customer intent when it's coming directly from your customer's objective data. Right? So are you unlocking your true customer intent? Now, a couple things that you might want to look at is what matters in pricing the deals the right way. We have 3 things. Intent accuracy. Are you actually looking at the conversations from the customers you're talking to, or are you getting it from somewhere else? Right? Intent probability. Right? What's the probability that your customers will actually buy now, right, versus later? What's the probability they won't buy and you're wasting your time with them? Right? And then intent forecast. What does that actually look like when you look at this quarter's forecast? Right? Are you leaving money on the table? Are you chasing the wrong deals? What exactly is happening with our deal predictor? Now let's talk for a minute about what leaders say. We have Max Smith from Synatic. Welcome, Max. How are you doing?
Excellent. How are you doing today?
Very good. Let me. All right, we're live. Let me make it a little bit bigger. So thanks for coming out. We're at the Texas Star.
Oh, I appreciate you having me out.
Awesome, cool. Well, tell me about, with current recession coming up, people aren't sure if it's happening or not, but it seems like it is. Q3 went okay. Q4, how are you going to do things differently? Or what are you thinking about in this recession?
So really thinking about the conversations we're having with the client and the customer. So with the from the customer side, making sure we have a tool like Complete CSM in place to be able to control the conversation. So we know what each rep is asking every single stage of the call and seeing what those responses are from the customer. So we know that if a customer has a positive response, is answering positively to those questions, that they're more likely to buy versus someone who's negative, not engaged.
Oh, awesome. Well, if you look at last quarter, did something stand out that you could have done something differently? And what are you going to do differently in Q4 based on Q3?
So really it's analyzing those conversations, making sure that we have them controlled every single step of the way, and then using that information to feed back in so that my team understands their economic buyer, understands the pain points and challenges of our customers, potential customers, because as you mentioned, there's a potential economic downturn coming. And if we can understand their specific pain points, the dollar value of the deal or the dollar value of that pain we're solving for them, we can move that deal along forward because it's going to bring a positive impact to that business.
Well, that's awesome, right? And it's all about using the right tools, right?
To
change the game, right? Now, what do you think? What advice would you give other sales leaders in your boat about what they can do about Q4 and even Q1 coming up?
Frankly, Complete CSM has been a game changer for us, being able to understand and track the conversation from when we initially reach out to the customer all the way to closing. You can really understand and get inside the customer's head. And that's what's going to be a game changer for us because we know what we should say each and every single time. Now it's ensuring that we get that response from the customer and are tracking that through every stage of the deal so that we can better predict what our Q4 revenue, Q4 close is going to be.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Well, what else do you want to do today here at the Dallas Star?
So learn more about Complete CSM, see the Dallas Star for the first time and first time out here. So appreciate you having us out. Enjoy the launch party and thank you for everything you've done for the team.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks, Matt, for coming out. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening now. Our next speaker, right, Darian Cunningham. So he couldn't join us live, but we got him right now.
Marketing's role is to help sales sell and to help customers buy, right? That's what we're here for. And I used to think that usage data was really the only thing that mattered, especially in a SaaS company where you can really see adoption, and then you can understand those patterns, and you can, reach out to customers and say, hey, here's some reasons why you should upgrade, or some new products that we've come up with that we think will be useful for you. I still think usage data is really important, especially for upsell, cross-sell, and customer, overall customer success and adoption. Intent data brings another level into the mix, both for current customers and, I typically think about intent mostly for prospects. You've got, I think a lot of marketers right now are working, you have to be, especially in B2B, you have to be working very closely with the sales organization, who generally have an outbound initiative, who are trying to reach people who don't know you. And I've worked with startups mostly, so you don't have the benefit of the brand awareness. So you really have to arm that outbound sales organization with the right tools. And I think we've all invested in sequencing tools, Outreach and SalesLoft, and we've invested in, Tech Target and Zoom Info and all these different databases out there. The problem is everyone has. So all these outbound sales development teams have the same, set of tools. Now you bring in something like Complete CSM, and you can actually bring in real intent data to the mix. You're going to differentiate and be able to reach people more intelligently. And I just think it's going to be a secret weapon that will differentiate sales teams and customer success teams going forward.
All right. Thank you, Darren. Good times. All right. So sales leaders saying great things about them. Also customer success and marketing. All right. So when you look behind the scenes at customer intelligence, what you can tell is conversations are happening everywhere. There's online meetings, there's collaboration tools, emails. The signals that you need are scattered everywhere. And we can leverage AI to unearth those most accurate intent from those exact signals, right? So these conversations are happening whether you capture them or not. Now, the key here is emotional intelligence and that analytics. EQ analysis really shifts the game, right? And we can see how it's not just customer intent from third-party data. It's not people that click on websites. It's not those boring things that really don't tell you a whole lot about a customer. It's the conversations that your team is having with them, right? That's absolutely the key. All right, now we're powered by the Customer Intelligence Cloud, right? This launch party is about looking at all the conversations from sales, customer success, marketing. Every conversation is a little bit different, has a different context. We have machine learning models that can determine, based on these conversations, is it a churn model? Is it a sales model, expansion? Like what exactly is happening? Is it for prospects and new customers? Right? This brings you the most accurate customer intent with our Customer Intelligence Cloud. All right, so now let's walk into a demo. We're going to do a demonstration of the #1 deal predictor for Salesforce, and you're going to see it in action right now.
Intent starts with every conversation. The nuances of what's being said, who's in it, the emotional sentiment of everything that happens in each conversation, and the analysis of the people. And you can also take notes on the conversations to understand what's happening in those. They're gone, they're from Zoom, support tickets, anything. Now, the true intent comes from the customer observations. Now, what are some of the things that started, the aha moment that started to bring the conversation down? We started talking about releases, but then what got us back up? We started talking about products and support, right? As a conversational commitment trend happens, people peak up. They start to have interest in different parts of that conversation. You also have a deep profile of each person. For example, sentiment, subjectivity, attitude, polarity. What's all the details of this conversation? How does it roll up to an intent score? What are the different things that drive each person to make decisions? If you talked about predicting or marketing, how do you start to understand each person and how they prioritize things? For example, by order or by data. How do they communicate visually, auditory? What's their commitment level to the conversation? And also follow up and figure out how to work with these people down to their bottom line. Right? This is customer intent. Now, this is also highly available in Salesforce. Now, Salesforce break down by account, you're looking at Acme Corporation, 73 intent rolled up from all the conversations. Right, things are sloping positively, but they're a little bit under allocated as far as their usage and their users. As you dive into the people, you can see all the conversations that happen with each person, what their intent level is. You can also start to understand observations about them that we looked at, the journey that they're on, and how they reflect on the loyalty of exactly what's happening. Right, so when you take each conversation's intent down to every nuance, you roll it up to the account. Now that's where you have a lot of power. For example, the yellow line is CSM health score. The blue line is the adoption. Now when you can overlay those conversations that true customer intent, we call it loyalty, you can start to see what's really happening in that account. And even better, how things are trending off to the right over time. Right, we also give you a machine learning prediction on what's that customer going to do next, according to other customers that have done the same thing in the past. Now this account is the power of what's happening in each one of your prospects and customers. Now if we go down to the contact level, you also start to get breakdowns on each person. How to follow up with them, observation about them. This is all in Salesforce. Even how this person compares to other people on their team. They're a little bit more negative, right? A little bit less intent on succeeding with you compared to other people on their team. You also get insights and trends. For example, these are all in Salesforce. Hey, this customer's trending downward and they already have a intent score of 3. You should do something about this customer. Now, when you start talking about prospects, let's go into our forecast. For example, in October, we have a commit 210. We have a best case 50, but the pipeline's huge. How do we move some of that over? For example, at the bottom in October, these additional EQ licenses, probability is 90% that it's going to close based on stage. Intent probability from the people that are being talked to right now, 73%, which means we're not going to get the whole 50,000. Now that is customer intent. If we go a little bit higher, we can look at all of our customers or prospects all at once, all at one time. Start to see that what's the intent score of Acme Corporation, what is the pulse of the users versus the champions, and how are things trending? Not super good. In fact, the rate of change of this account is negative 34.5%, but the sales rep or the CSM actually says it's going the opposite way. Now that's an interesting thing to look at, where you can dive into the code.
All right, what do you guys think about that? That's a demonstration of the next generation #1 deal predictor for Salesforce. Right, nothing else like it. You can only get customer intent that's true in that way. All right, so there's a couple different use cases across your revenue cycle. We have the deal predictor, which we're launching today. It's for sales. It really gives you AI-powered insights into your deals for renewals, new business, or expansions. We also have the churn predictor. A lot of people think this is for customer success. If you start looking at your churn customers and how they got there, what are those patterns? What is that usage? What are those conversations that got those customers to a churn state? It's unfortunate, but it happens. Now we can use real machine learning models to look for existing customers that have the same patterns, right? This is next generation churn prediction. We also have the reference predictor. Now this is still in beta, but we want to get you guys excited about it. Think about all the conversations that your team's having with customers. How many times did a customer give you a reference, but you didn't know about it, right? Marketing teams are excited to know exactly all the great things customers are saying about them. So what about a Slack channel where those references come right into the Slack for marketing, right? Now that's the reference predictor. It's fantastic. All right, so we have one more leader on for an interview, perspectives from analytics and CS leaders on unlocking customer intent. Mr. Faisal Khan, welcome. All right, here we are at the Frisco Star with Faisal Khan, VP of Data Analytics from Talent. Faisal, what brings you here today?
Well, the weather for one, and what we have been doing with you guys in Complete CSM to talk about that, and looking forward to it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we have this pending recession. Are you looking at really getting a hold on your existing customers and new business?
Absolutely right. So economic headwinds are the truth today, right? So what everybody is focusing on, including us, is how do we retain and maintain our customers, right? So net dollar retention obviously is a key, and the churn model and the predictability that we have built with our current customer base is that's what we are focusing on.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, and that's what we're launching today is the number one deal predictor for Salesforce.
Nice.
Right. So we're happy to have you on board. Now tell us, when you start looking at customers and you look at those churn customers, what can you learn from them?
Well, one thing, I mean, obviously everybody has the product telemetry, right? So what we really wanted to go was in depth, really understand the sentiment of the customer. You could have customers who are really happy utilizing the product, and all of a sudden you find downsells. So what we have built with the utilizing complete CSM, understanding the sentiment, and then feeding that into the churn indicator or the predictor, as we call it, we really read between the lines and really get to understand this emotional intelligence and what's said between the lines to really get to, okay, where is the customer standing with us today?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's all about that emotional intelligence in those conversations that your team is having with customers, right?
Exactly.
To really bring out the effect.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Now, would you have any advice for other data analytics leaders that are walking into this recession in Q4?
Well, obviously, I talked about the net dollar retention, right? So, the second best thing right now everybody's focusing on is how do we improve our pipeline? And that all boils down to sales opportunities, right? So, the opportunities do we have? How do we predict those? How can we focus on the right ones? And I think what we are launching, or you guys are launching with Deal Predictor, it's going to be something game changing in that effect, right? So, really going into the sales opportunities, understanding we have sales stages, right? Everybody goes through the sales stages, they qualify, everybody uses MEDDIC and all those things. But this one extra nugget, right, where you can really understand what is the customer saying, what is the sentiment at a given point. They may like our product, they may not like our product. Those are clear indications. But then, even if they like the product, given the economic headwinds, how can we really understand what the customer is? Are they going to buy this quarter or not?
Fantastic. And that's what Complete CSM does with complete signal management. All right.
That's exactly what we are looking to do.
All right. Thanks for coming out today at Texas Star.
Thank you for having me over. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Weather is nice and it's windy.
Fantastic. Now let's go watch the game.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Faisal. Really appreciate the time today. All right. Well, let's take a look at how other clients unlock intent. At Silverline, they get 8 days advance notice before a project fails by looking in their Slack channels. This is amazing. Talon, we just heard from Faisal Khan, the VP of Data Analytics, 90% predictive accuracy on customer NRR actions. Which customer is going to expand, renew, or churn out? Reciprocity, 70% higher outcomes from executive conversations. All right, this is amazing. It's all based on customer intent, true customer intent. So back to Deal Predictor. Time is running out on the quarter. Are you smashing your deals? We'll give you, through this launch party, 45 days access, right? Exclusive for the Deal Predictor. Begins today. Go to the website, completecsm.ai, click on Salesforce or one of the banners up there. 45 days. That'll get you through November, so you'll be ready for December and ready for Q4. All right, what's next? Well, tonight we'll be in Las Vegas at TSIA, so we'll see you there. The same time tomorrow, we'll have the after party. So what happens in Vegas doesn't really stay in Vegas, and we're going to interview people on the show floor at the expo and TSA. So the Deal Predictor, thank you guys for joining. This has been a fantastic event. We've got a good crew here. Thanks, everybody. All right. We'll talk to you soon.